Okay. So next bit is, which is the last bit. It is now the last bit is angular motion. Angular motion. Close that door. Don't discuss. Pay attention. Angular motion. So now after linear motion, now we will see this angular motion. So first term in the angular motion is angular displacement. So instead of linear displacement, now angular displacement is there. Angular displacement. So now what is the angular displacement? Angular displacement is the angle in radians, described by the particle, described by the body moving under curvilinear motion from one point to another point. Okay. So angular displacement is the displacement of the body from one point to another in curvilinear motion. Okay, so you can say the circular displacement. So that displacement is always measured in the radians. This is most important thing. It is always measured in the radians. So here 1 degree is equal to pi by 180 radians. Degree and radians are used to measure the angle. So 1 degree is equal to pi by 180 radians. If you want, you can write it down. So this is the angular displacement which is measured in radians. Second is angular. So angular displacement, it is measured in radians in theta. That is the theta. The notation used here is theta. Then angular velocity. Angular velocity. That is omega. Here, rate of change of angular displacement with respect to time is known as angular velocity. Unit of angular velocity is, it is radian per second. So displacement is measured in radians. Angular velocity is measured in radian per second. Next is, next heading is, okay, so before moving next, here we will write the formulas. Formula is omega. Angular velocity is omega. It is rate of change of displacement, angular displacement. So it is d by dt of theta. So omega is equal to d theta by dt. Okay, जसं तुम्ही v is equal to ds upon dt घेताय, तसंच omega equal to d theta upon dt. Next, angular acceleration. Angular acceleration. Rate of change of angular velocity. Rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time, is known as angular acceleration. Is known as angular acceleration. Unit is radian per second square. Unit is radian per second square. तिकडे unit असते meter per second square. तिकडे radian per second square. So alpha is equal to, from definition, alpha is equal to, alpha is the notation for angular acceleration. Rate of change of angular velocity, it is d omega by dt. This is alpha. Okay, but if you put the value here, what I can say, but omega is equal to d theta by dt. So therefore, alpha is equal to this d by dt as it is, and for omega again, we will write d theta by dt. So therefore, alpha is equal to d2 theta upon dt square. This is for the alpha. Also, here also, so now alpha is equal to what? It is d omega by dt. So multiplied and divided by d theta. Okay, so multiply and divide by d theta. So what I will do, alpha is equal to, it is d omega by dt into d theta by d theta. Okay, multiplied. So alpha is equal to, so alpha is equal to, now this d theta by dt. D theta by dt is nothing but omega. So I will write omega, d omega as it is divided by d theta. तिथं तुम्ही v ds upon dt घेतलं होतं ना, a is equal to, इथं alpha is equal to omega d omega upon dt. Same relations are there, just there is a difference of notation. झालं का लिहून? Next is the
मागची स्लाइड ओपन करायला.
तुम्ही स्क्रीनशॉट काढत नाहीत का?
ओके सर.
Okay. So now equations of angular motion. We have already seen the equations of linear motion. Now the equations of angular motion. Okay. So the equations of angular motion काय असणार आहेत? पहिले मला लिनियर मोशनचे इक्वेशन सांगा. फर्स्ट इक्वेशन ऑफ लिनियर मोशन v इज इक्वल टू u प्लस at. अँग्युलर मोशन मध्ये हेच काय होणार सांगा बरं मला. ओमेगा इज इक्वल टू इनिशियल वेलोसिटी इज ओमेगा नॉट or omega 0 plus a is replaced by alpha t. This is the first equation here in the angular motions. What is the second equation in linear motion? S is equal to ut plus half at square. So here what will be the equation? Here instead of s, here it is linear displacement, here theta is the angular displacement ut. So it is omega naught t or omega 0 t plus half of alpha t square. The third equation is v square is equal to u square plus 2as. So here what is the third equation? It is omega square is equal to omega 0 square plus 2 alpha theta. So these are the angular equations of motion. So this is the linear, these are the equations of angular motion here. These are the equations of angular motion. Okay, now we will see the derivation. Now see, I will write here angular acceleration. Angular acceleration is equal to change in angular velocity, change in angular velocity divided by time. So here angular acceleration means alpha, which is equal to change in velocity means final angular velocity minus initial angular velocity, that is change in velocity divided by time. Okay. So now if you reshuffle the terms, what you will get? You will get omega is equal to omega 0 plus alpha t. So this is your equation number 1. Okay. This is your equation number 1. So here now theta is equal to, it is omega plus omega naught by 2 into t. Okay. So here if you put the value of omega 0 over here, this value, so what you will get? So theta is equal to here omega naught plus alpha t plus omega 0 divided by 2, and here it is multiplied by t. Therefore theta is equal to, it is omega 0 t divided by 2 plus alpha t into, this is t square, this is 1 by 2. So omega 0 plus omega 0, 2 omega 0. So 2 will get cancelled. So and multiplied by t. Further the calculation. इतो ओमेगा 0 and omega 0 झालं 2 omega 0. 2 omega 0 ला t by 2 ने multiply करायचं. So 2 omega 0 t divided by 2. So 2 will get cancelled. So here what will remain? Omega 0 t plus, now this is alpha t square by 2. So it is 1/2 alpha t square. So this is our equation number 2. Okay. Now for the third equation, we know that theta is equal to what? This is the second equation. Now for the third one, again theta is equal to what? Theta is equal to omega plus omega 0 by 2 into t. Okay, so therefore, but alpha is equal to what? Alpha is equal to omega minus omega naught by 2. So therefore, theta is equal to what you will get here now? It is omega plus omega 0 by 2 into here I have made some mistake. So here that alpha is equal to, it is not 2, it is divided by t. Okay. Acceleration equal to लिखा ना, a is equal to v minus u divided by t. Same thing is there, alpha equal to omega minus omega 0 divided by t. Okay, already we have seen all these three equations in the linear motion. Just you have to replace the notations. That's it. Same thing is there. So here value of t is, so theta is equal to, we will get here omega plus omega 0 by 2 into omega minus omega 0 by 2. Therefore, theta is equal to here omega plus omega 0 into omega minus omega 0, and at the denominator I will write here 2 alpha. This term is alpha. This term is alpha because when you shift this t to that side, this alpha will come here. So theta is equal to this term as it is, and instead of t we have put this value omega minus omega 0 divided by alpha. We have put it over here. So now which is equal to 2 into alpha. Therefore, 2 alpha theta is equal to, it is a square plus b square. So omega square a plus b, a minus b, a square minus b square. So shift this term to this side. So omega square is equal to omega 0 square plus 2 alpha theta. So this is your equation number 3. This is the equation number 3. Okay. झालं की सांगा. Is it
Yes,
over?
sir.
Okay. And the last thing is that relation between linear motion and angular motion. Okay. So let us consider this motion. I will draw one path. This is a circular motion. And this is the center. Now suppose a particle is moving. This is a particle which is now at point A. This is your radius R. This is the radius R. Suppose it moves to distance B here. It travels over here. This is point B. So again, this distance will be R. And suppose now it travels this distance A to B. This travel distance, it is S. And suppose this angle is theta. This angle is theta. From A to B, the particle moves from, a body moves from point A to point B. It travels a distance S. The angular displacement of AB is theta. And this is the radius. Okay. So from figure, we can say that from figure, S means what? Length of arc is equal to R into theta. So length of arc is equal to this radius into theta. Theta is the angular displacement. So here if I differentiate both sides with respect to time, then what I will get is ds upon dt is equal to r as it is into d theta upon dt. Okay. So therefore, ds upon dt is nothing but v, which is equal to r as it is. D theta upon dt means omega. So v is equal to r omega. This is equation number 1 again. This is equation number 2. R omega. Okay. And the acceleration similarly, tangential acceleration AT. Tangential acceleration means if it is rotating and from this point, if it is released, then it will move in this direction, in this way. So this is called as tangential direction. So the tangential acceleration is equal to r into alpha. R into alpha. Okay, this is the third thing, where AT is tangential acceleration. AT. Okay, AN is normal acceleration, and AN is equal to radial acceleration or normal acceleration. Okay. And this AN is calculated as and this AN, that is the normal acceleration, it is calculated as v square by r, or AN is equal to r omega square. R omega square. So AN is the radial acceleration or normal acceleration along here, and AT is the tangential acceleration. Okay. So these are the formulas which are required while solving the numericals. To take the problem now. A wheel rotating about a fixed axis at 20 rpm revolutions per minute. rpm means revolutions per minute. Okay, एका मिनिटामध्ये किती रिव्होल्यूशन्स होते, that is the rpm. 20 rpm is uniformly accelerated for 70 seconds during which it makes 50 revolutions. Let's stop. Find first angular velocity at the end of this interval. second, the time required for velocity to reach 100 hours. So read the problem. So wheel is rotating about a fixed axis 20 rpm. So from the 20 rpm we can calculate its angular velocity. Okay. Is uniformly accelerated for 70 seconds, during which it makes 50 revolutions. So in the 70 seconds it makes 50 revolutions. Okay. Angular velocity at the end of this interval and the time required for the velocity at each second. Okay, so the first we will find out the wheel is rotating about fixed axis of 20 rpm. So that velocity, initial velocity we will calculate. So initial angular velocity is equal to, it is omega naught which is equal to 2 pi n, okay, divided by 60. So if the revolutions per minute is given to you, convert this into revolutions per second. So that is why it is divided by 60. Okay, and if you multiply the revolutions by pi, 2 pi, then you will get it in radian. समजते का नाही? 12वी झालेलं ना 2 pi by 16. हे बघा कसं आहे ते तुम्हाला सांगतो. ओमेगा 0 चं युनिट काय असतंय? ओमेगा 0 इज मेजर्ड इन रेडियन पर सेकंड. हे तर बरोबर आहे. मग आता इकडे बघा, 1 revolution. See, if I draw a circle over here. Now, a particle, suppose a body started with point A. It is start moving from point A. And then it will complete 1 revolution. This 1 revolution. A body started from point A and it will complete this 1 revolution and again coming to point A. Okay. So in 1 revolution, what the angle this body is covered? What is the angle? Whole circle means it is 360.
360.
So 360 is degree. Okay. 1 revolution is 360 is degree. I want it in radian. What should I do? 360 into pi by 180. So I will get this in radian. So how much it is? 2 pi radian. Okay, this is 2 pi radian. So 1 revolution is nothing but 2 pi radian. Okay. So here you can see 20 revolutions per minute. So 20 revolutions per minute means what? Here you can see omega. The formula is 2 pi into n. So n is measured in revolutions. N is nothing but it is revolutions. And if you multiply these revolutions by 2 pi, so unit of 2 pi is radian. And these revolutions are in revolutions per minute. So if you divide this by 60, this will become revolutions per second. So this is per second. So at denominator you will get second because of this 60. So second is there. And at top, this is the number of revolutions. So revolutions, if you multiply it by 2 pi, so 1 revolution is 2 pi radian. So here the unit will be radian per second. So this unit is worked out. Omega 0 is equal to radian per second from this relation. Okay. So the formula is angular velocity omega naught is equal to 2 pi n upon 60. Initial angular velocity. In general, angular velocity is equal to 2 pi n upon 60, where n is the revolutions per minute. Where n is the revolutions in 1 minute. Okay. So here I will rub this now. Hope you understood the things. So here omega is equal to, it is 2 pi n divided by 60, which is equal to 2 into n is 20 into pi as it is divided by 60. What is the answer? Keep pi as it is. This will get cancelled. 2 ones are 2, 3s are 6. 2/3. 2 by 3 म्हणजे 0.66 ना? 0.66 pi. It is radian per second. Keep the pi as it is. Every time it is required, so don't do the calculation so early. So your initial velocity is 0.66 pi radian per second. So next is for 70 seconds. In the 70 seconds, how many revolutions is made? 50 revolutions. Okay. So here 50 revolutions. 50 revolutions. These are revolutions. Now if I want angular displacement, what is the angular displacement in these 70 seconds? How can I calculate the angular displacement? So the angular displacement will be 1 revolution is equal to how many radians? 1 revolution is 2 pi radians. Okay, इथं बघा सांगतो. 1 revolution is equal to 2 pi radian. मग आता मला काय पाहिजे? 50 revolutions. So for 50 revolutions, how many radians? Okay, so it will be 100 pi. काय केलं तुम्ही? 50 into 2 pi. So the radians will be 50 into 2 pi, which is equal to 100 pi radians. Is it clear? Okay, 100 pi कुठून आलं? This is angular displacement. The unit of angular displacement is radians. These are now, this is 50 is not the angular displacement because it is given in terms of revolution. So we have converted this 50 revolution into the angular displacement by multiplying this by 2 pi. Why we should multiply it by 2 pi? Because one revolution is 360 degree, which is 2 pi radian. So that is why we have to multiply it by 2 pi. So for one revolution, angle is 2 pi. So for 50 revolutions, what is the angle? Okay. So it is 100 pi radian. So this theta is 100 pi. Okay. So now use the equation. So I will rub this now, this part. So now use the equation. Theta is equal to omega 0 t plus half alpha t square. So put all the values. So theta is equal to 100 pi. Omega 0, what is the velocity? 0.66 pi into t time. किती सेकंदात होते म्हणले? 70 seconds. 70 plus 1 by 2 into alpha. We don't know the value of alpha as it is into t square. What is the value of t? It is 70 seconds. 70 square. Okay, so therefore, after solving this, you will get the value of alpha. ठीक है लोग, करा कैलकुलेट. Let me know what is the value of alpha. 0.02 आला इथं 0.022 पाय बरोबर आहे का ओके so it is 0.022 pi it is radian per second square radian per second square. Now after the calculation of alpha they have asked us angular velocity at the end of this interval. So now we need to find out angular velocity. So what is the formula for the angular velocity? Omega is equal to omega 0 plus alpha t, which is equal to omega 0. What is omega 0? 0.66 pi plus alpha. Alpha is 0.022 into t is the time. Time is, what is the time? 70 seconds. So if you solve this, you will get the answer. Let me know what is the value. 5 point. Here it is 6.92. किती आला आन्सर here it is pi लायचं राहिलं बरं का 6.90. Okay. The answer is 6.90 radian per second. So this first part is completed now. Angular velocity at the end of this time interval. This is the first part. Angular velocity at the end of this time interval is 6.9. Now what is the second part? The time required for velocity reach to 100 rpm. Okay. Now what is the initial velocity? It is 0.66 pi radian per second. Now they have asked us the velocity required to reach 100 rpm. Okay. So first of all, we will calculate that. So omega is equal to 2 pi n upon 60, which is equal to 2 pi into n. N is 100 divided by 60. What is the answer? एवढा वेळ का बरं लागतं ते पाय असंच ठेवायचं फक्त 2 into 100 divided by 60 एवढं करायचं 10.47 हा 10.47 कुठून आणलं तुम्ही हा कसं काय आलं 3 पॉइंट कसं काय आलं 10 पॉइंट क्यों नका म्हणून सांगायला लागले तुम्ही कशाला लागते पाय सगळ्यात शेवटी ठेवायची व्हॅल्यू so it is 3.33 pi radian per second. प्रत्येक वेळेला उगी मल्टिप्लाय करत बसण्यात वेळ जात नाही का ते पायची व्हॅल्यू कशाला लिहित बसायचं असं पण चालतंय आन्सर लिहिलं तरी So it is 3.33 pi radian per second. Okay. So now what is the initial velocity? Initial we have already calculated. The initial velocity was omega 0 is equal to 0.66 pi radian per second, and alpha, that is the acceleration, 0.022 pi radian per second square. So now what they have asked us, the time required for velocity to reach 100 rpm. So t is equal to, we need to find out. So we will use here relation omega is equal to omega 0 plus alpha t. So omega is 3.33 pi radians. Omega 0 0.66 pi plus 0.022 pi into t. Therefore, t is equal to 1. Check the answer. Is it correct? Okay. Next one is a flywheel which accelerate with uniform velocity is observed to make 100 revolutions to increase its velocity from 120 rpm to 160 rpm. If flywheel originally started from rest, so determine first value of acceleration, determine acceleration. Second, time taken to increase the velocity from 120 rpm to 160 rpm. Stop. And third, revolution made in reaching a velocity of revolutions made in reaching a velocity of 160 rpm from rest. So this is the given problem. Read it and solve it.
Sir, they made 100.
Made 100 revolutions. REV, short form of revolutions. 100 revolutions. It is revolutions. It is revolutions. Read the problem and try to solve. बघा येते का सोडवतो. सोडवलं का? कधी सोडवायचं म्हणून कंटाळा आला. किती वय तुमच्या सगळ्यांचं? 18 किती 18 19 किती आहे? मात्र झालं 91 81 वय झालं. तसे एनर्जेटिक पाहिजे तुम्ही. 5 वाजता 7 वाजता संध्याकाळी. जसा सकाळी 9 ला चेहरा असतो ना तसा पाहिजे संध्याकाळी 5 ला. You should be fresh. मी सकाळी एक लेक्चर घेतलंय, दुपारी परत हे 11 ते 12चं लेक्चर झालं. म्हणजे सकाळचं म्हणजे 11 ते 12, 2 ते 3 एक लेक्चर झालं, 3 ते 4 परत तुमच्याच क्लासवर, 4 ते 5 आताच कंटिन्यू करत. किती लेक्चर झाले सकाळपासून? तरी मी कंटाळा करत नाही शिकवायला, उलट मी म्हणायला पाहिजे का. टेक इंटरेस्ट, ट्राय टू लर्न, ट्राय टू अंडरस्टँड. And if you have any doubt, you can ask at that time, so that if it is get clear, then you will more interest will be generated in this. हे आपल्याला चुकणार नाही, करावं तर लागणारच आहे. प्रॉब्लेम्स विचारले जातात एमसीक्यू ला असले. एमसीक्यू ला सुद्धा फक्त एक लाईन काहीतरी विचारली जाते. इन अ सिंगल फॉर्म्युला you will get the answer. That type of problem can be asked in the MCQs also. Chalo, I will read the problem. Those who have not solved, pay attention over here. A flywheel which accelerates with a uniform velocity is observed to made 100 revolutions. So 100 revolutions दिलेत म्हणजे If I multiply this 100 by 2 pi, then I will get displacement, angular displacement. Okay, theta. To increase its velocity from 120 rpm to 160 rpm. So initial velocity 2 pi n upon n is 120. 2 pi n into 2 pi 120 divided by 60. That is the initial velocity. Final velocity is also known to us. 2 pi into 160 divided by 60. And determine acceleration, time taken, and revolutions made. Very simple problem is there. So we will solve it now. So here, first of all, initial velocity omega 0. So for omega 0, 120 rpm is given. So it is 2 pi n divided by 60, which is equal to 2 pi into 120 divided by 60. What is the answer? 4 pi. 4 pi radian per second. Next, it is increased up to 160. So we will calculate final velocity omega. 2 pi n divided by 60. So it is 2 pi into n is 160 divided by 60. What is the answer? Hmm? 2 pi. Then calculate theta. Theta is equal to 5 point. So this is 5.33 pi. So now theta. So how to calculate theta? 100 revolutions म्हणून सांगितलं ना. बघा इकडे 100 revolutions म्हणून सांगितलंय. So for one revolution, your angle in radian is 2 pi. 2 pi radian is the angle for one revolution. So for 100 revolution, x is the angle. What is the angle? Cross multiplication kara. So therefore, theta is equal to, it is 100 into 2 pi, which is equal to 200 pi radian. So this is theta. So now you can calculate the alpha. First, we need to calculate the acceleration. So to calculate alpha, what we will do, we will use the equation omega square is equal to omega 0 plus 2 alpha theta. So omega square is 5.33 pi square is equal to omega 0 is 4 pi square है ना इथं पण plus 2 alpha as it is into what is the value of theta? Theta is 200 pi. Okay, now solve this. Solve kara. Let me know alpha. Point 0.031 pi radian per second square. Please check the value. Next काय विचारले? Time taken to increase the velocity from 120 to 160. So what is the time required for this? So if I want to calculate the time, you can use any equation, but t should be there. So I will use omega is equal to omega naught plus alpha t. So omega is 5.33 pi is equal to omega 0 is 4 pi plus 0.031 pi into t. So from this equation you can calculate. Now take pi common, it will get cancelled. Can I vote? Let me know what is the answer. So t is 42. T is equal to 42.9 seconds. Now the last thing what they have asked, revolutions made, revolutions which are like, okay, revolutions made in reaching a velocity of 160 rpm from rest. म्हणजे 0 पासून 160 from rest म्हणलेलं आहे. Reaching the velocity of 160 rpm from rest. So from 0 to 160 rpm ही velocity reach करायला त्यांनी किती रिव्होल्यूशन्स मेड केलेले आहेत, किती रिव्होल्यूशन्स त्यांनी केलेले आहेत ते कॅल्क्युलेट करायचे आपल्याला. So here we will calculate that. So the initial velocity omega 0, it is 0. Okay, 0 radian per second. Then omega is equal to 161 ले म्हणजे 5.33. Already we have calculated radian per second. पुढे त्यांनी काय म्हटलेले आहे? Alpha already we have calculated. What is the value? 0.31 pi radian per second square. Okay, so calculate the theta first. So to calculate the theta, I will use the formula omega is equal to omega square, omega 0 square plus 2 alpha theta. This equation we will use. V square is equal to u square plus 2as. This equation आहे. फक्त टर्मचे वेगवेगळे आहेत, नोटेशन्स वेगळे आहेत. So here omega square means 5.33 pi square is equal to omega 0 square is 0 square plus 2 into alpha is 0.031 into theta as it is. Therefore, theta is equal to what is the answer? 458.19 pi radians. Please check the value of the theta. Correct? Okay. Now, what is asked in the problem? बरोबर आहे ना आपला आन्सर? इथपर्यंत सॉल्व करायचं का? नाही, मग काय करायचं? रिव्होल्यूशन्स कॅल्क्युलेट करायचे. कसं करायचं? डिवाइड बाय, करेक्ट. हे बघा, हे काय आले? थीटा आलेले आहे. नाउ थीटा इज 458.19 pi. See, I will tell you the relation once again. See, one revolution is how many radians? 2 pi radians. One revolution is equal to 2 pi radians. मग आता माझ्याकडे रेडियन मध्ये व्हॅल्यू आहे ना, ती व्हॅल्यू मी इथं ऑलरेडी लिहून टाकतो. 458.19 pi radian. ओके, इज इक्वल टू किती? ऑलवेज डू दिस मल्टिप्लिकेशन लाईक दिस. इथे एक लाईन मारायची, ह्याला इक्वल टू करायचं, ह्याला एक लाईन मारायची आणि हे दोन काढून टाकायचे. दिस विल क्रिएट वन इक्वेशन. Okay, so this value, suppose this is x, we want to calculate x pi 1 is x, so this pi will get cancelled. If you divide it by 2, you will get the answer. हे कळलं का काय केलंय ते? So revolutions revolutions is equal to 458.19 pi divided by 2 pi, which is equal to 229.0. बंद के लिखा है जिसमें okay. Last problem है topic sir. So tomorrow we can go for next unit. Last topic, last problem. काय झालं? Okay, now take the problem. Power supply was cut off to a power driven wheel when it is rotating at a speed of 900 rpm, comma, it was observed to come to rest after making 360 revolutions. Full stop. Determine the angular retardation and time it took, just a minute, and time it took to come to rest after power supply was cut off. Very easy problem. एक angular wheel है, not power driven wheel, sorry. One power driven wheel is there. So one wheel is there which is rotating based on the power. Power is supplied to that wheel. So initially that wheel is rotating about 900 rpm. म्हणजे काहीतरी सर्टन वेलॉसिटीने ते रोटेट होत होतं. ओके, अचानक लाईट गेली, तर लाईट गेल्यानंतर 360 रिव्होल्यूशन्स त्याचे झाले आणि मग ते थांबले. समजतंय? आफ्टर 360 revolutions it stops. So they ask you to calculate angular retardation. Now acceleration will not be there. It is already rotating and it comes to rest. So retardation is there. So angular retardation and time, that we need to calculate. Okay. So see, first of all, a power driven wheel when it is rotating at a speed of 900 rpm. So initial velocity is 900 rpm. So omega is equal to, it is 2 pi n divided by 60. So it is 2 into pi into n is 900 divided by 60. What is the answer? 30 pi. So it is 30 pi radian per second. Now this is final velocity or initial velocity? Initial velocity omega 0. 900 rpm ni rotate होते म्हणून सांगितलं ना सुरुवातीला. Now after that what happens? Power is cut down. लाईट गेली मग त्याला पॉवरचा सप्लाय कमी झाला म्हणजे बंदच पडला. तर मग काय होईल? Now it will slowly come to rest by rotating. मग final velocity omega it is 0 radian per second. Okay, it was come to the rest म्हणलेलं आहे. It was come to the rest after 360 revolutions. So omega is 0. Now what is the value of theta? किती रिव्होल्यूशन्स झाले म्हणून सांगितलंय? हाऊ मेनी रिव्होल्यूशन्स? 360. बघा इकडे मग वन रिव्होल्यूशन इज नथिंग बट 2 पाय रेडियन. एक नेहमी गोष्ट लक्षात ठेवा, थीटा हा रेडियन मध्येच असला पाहिजे. Whenever you are using these three equations of angular motion, always remember that put the value of theta in radians only. So here it is 360 revolutions is given, so we have to convert it into the radian. So for that, one revolution is equal to 2 pi radian. So for 360 revolution, x is the radian. Okay, so it will be, it is 360 into 2 pi, so it is 720 pi radian. Okay, now calculate the acceleration. Very simple. Now retardation and time we need to calculate. So for the retardation and time, okay, so I will use the equation omega square is equal to omega naught plus 2 alpha theta. So omega square is 0 square is equal to omega naught is 30 pi square plus 2 into alpha. Alpha we need to calculate into theta. Theta is 720 pi. So therefore alpha is equal to 0.625. Alpha is 0.625 pi radian per second square. This is the value of alpha. Now we need to calculate the time. Okay, so use the first equation to calculate the time. So if you want to calculate the time, then it is omega is equal to omega 0 plus alpha t. So here omega is 0, then omega 0 is 30 pi plus alpha t. मायनस की व्हॅल्यू मायनस आली आहे का? हे मायनस आलंय का? मग सांगायचं की मायनस आलंय म्हणून. दिस इज मायनस. So plus here in the bracket minus 0.625 pi into t. So solve it now. T is equal to 48 seconds. Please check the answer. घरी गेल्यावरती परत बघायचं आज झालेलं सगळं, नाहीतर सगळं वरनं जाते परत. ओके, ऑनलाईन ऑल्सो हो, दोज हु आर हियर online students, whatever we have learned today, please see it, please go through it, try to solve the excessive problems, try to solve the numericals from that PDF which I have uploaded in the teaching diary assignment. Okay, so assignment problems are your practice problems. Try to solve those problems. So what is the date today?
17 March.
19th March. So from 3 we have continued the lecture, no?
Yes, sir. Hi, 30.
5:30. So roll number 1, 2,
Present, sir.
3, 4, 5,
Present, sir.
6,
Present,
7,
Present, sir.
8,
Present, sir.
9, roll number 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
Present, sir.
16,
Present.
17,
Present, sir.
18, 19,
Present.
20,
Present, sir.
21,
Present, sir.
22,
Present, sir.
23,
Present, sir.
24,
Present, sir.
25, 26, 27,
Present, sir.
28,
Present.
29, 30,
Present, sir.
31,
Present, sir.
32,
Present, sir.
33,
Present, sir.
34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 53, 54,
Present, sir.
55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61.
Present, sir.
Okay. Okay, you may go.